Well, let's talk celebrations and ICAG, that is the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, is hosting more than 1,000 delegates at a conference, and it's all in the celebration of their week. And we have our resource persons here. Osei Jemfi is Director Technical and Research with ICAG, and Abigail Ama is Senior Manager HR and Communications with ICAG. They join us for a conversation. So I'll start with you, Mr. Jemfi. Now, at the mention of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, what should come to mind when it comes to the ordinary Ghanaian?
ICAG is a regulator of the accountancy profession. Accountants work with standards and then principles and laws. And there must be a body that will oversee to ensure that the accountants are working within the rules. And it was set up by an Act of Parliament. Act 170, 1963.
Right.
That's an old.
So you've been around for a long time.
Exactly.
Okay.
Fortunately, we are getting the law reviewed with a new one that will come out within this month, if everything.
This very month.
Exactly.
Okay. So just quickly, what are some of the changes you are looking at then?
We are looking at the mandate of the association and the institute. At the moment, some accountants are working outside regulation.
Okay.
Not every accountant is under ICAG. But with the new law, what it means is that everyone who holds himself out as an accountant is supposed to work under regulation. So they all come under the ambit of the institute.
So you're tightening the space so we can't have all these frauds. From time to time, medical experts, on your experts, we're trying to root all of that out.
Exactly. Bring everyone under the same umbrella.
Okay.
Yes. And our mission as an institute is to produce professional accountants of the highest quality.
Okay.
And they are ready to provide cutting-edge services to all their clients. And we have core values as an institute. These core values are competence, integrity, then we also have versatility, and then also we have excellence.
Okay.
These are our core values.
And that is what you want to enforce, to ensure that everyone under your umbrella is sticking to that.
Exactly.
You have a lovely tie, by the way, and I see ICAG, and beneath it, integrity.
Exactly. So that is our motto, actually. Integrity. Every accountant should be a man of integrity.
Okay. Before I come to Madam, now, the bit about ICAG, you've been around for quite a long time. What has been your contribution to national development, would you say?
Every business, every company needs an accountant. That is the part that everyone should address his mind to. Without an accountant, a business cannot thrive. That is why even here we have an accountant, not only one accountant, others work with him. And accountants work in every sphere of our industry. Now, let's take, for instance, in accountancy, we can have a cost accountant, management accountant, financial accountant, internal auditor, external auditor, financial analyst, and the list go on and on. Because it's the only profession that trains a student for business. And so in all business sphere, we have accountants working. Okay. And our contribution is so enormous. Maybe we have time to talk about that. Exactly.
Mrs. Ama, now, ICAG, like we've said, has been around for a pretty long time. And you're celebrating your week. It's a week-long celebration. Tell us a bit about the theme. What is the theme for the celebration? And what are you expecting to do in the course of this week-long celebration?
The theme is business continuity and sustainable development.
Business continuity and sustainable development.
Okay. And then the role of technology.
The role of technology.
Okay. And this theme actually was evolved last year, 2020, but because of the pandemic, we were unable to hold our conference. Okay. And it's still relevant today because we see the impact of the pandemic. Now, during the pandemic, we've seen that we've had to draw up business continuity plans. All institutions had to draw up business continuity plans. And we've seen businesses collapse. We've seen people lose their jobs. So we see the impact that business continuity has in sustaining our businesses. And so we need to ensure that there is sustainable development. And the driver in this is technology. Hitherto, we did a lot of things manually. But the pandemic has opened the technology space for us, so we've seen a lot of that. So during the week-long celebration, we intend to have a number of activities.
Right.
Some of them include a health walk. We'll be having a Thanksgiving service. All these are going to be held in Kumasi, and some of them will be held in other regions.
Okay.
But the crux of the celebrations will be a 2-day conference in Kumasi.
Okay.
And that is where the theme will be looked at critically and other sub-themes that we have developed.
Okay. So I know that in terms of blood, access to blood, and I'm just deviating a bit, in our hospitals, there's a shortage in there. So maybe as you have your health walks and all of that, that is something else you could check in to help our blood banks in the country. But what is the major highlight of this week-long celebration? What is the major highlight?
We have a theme that helps us to focus on how digitization has an impact on our profession and what's fierce. Now, technology is threatening the job of an accountant. Do we just sit down, or there's a way to go along with it? And then also look at how COVID-19 has impacted on every business. Now we have salary cuts, some are losing their jobs. How can we take advantage of technology, leverage on it, so that we can still be in business as accountants? How do we prepare a future-ready accountant in an era where digitalization is threatening to take over our job? All these will be dealt with in the conference and others as well.
So he has already mentioned that you're the only institution that prepares your students for business. And in this past year of COVID-19, it's shaken a lot of businesses. Some businesses have gone under. What would you say has been the impact of ICAG in this entire setup when it comes to businesses in Ghana?
The Institute has, during the pandemic, our stakeholders, we have training institutions that train accountants. So we needed to interact with them. We needed to give them guidelines as to how to conduct their affairs, how to interact with their students. So as a result, they were innovative enough to add virtual to in-person activities. You know, a lot of our in-person activities were banned. And we also have a lot of in-person activities. But during the pandemic, we had to innovate. So we needed to harness the virtual platform. So we reached a lot more people with our activities using the virtual platforms for our public lectures. We had a series of public lectures, especially when government introduced some tax issues that needed to harness, that needed to focus on the pandemic and how the tax could be applied. So we've been able to widen the space, increase our contacts with our stakeholders, and also ensure that they also innovate, because we've been stuck in our manual systems for too long. Now we need to open up, because the world has opened up.
Right. And just speaking of which, I'm interested, now that you're talking about virtual arrangements and all of that, you are hosting about 1,000 people at this Congress. How are you managing it? Is it going to be virtual? Is it going to be hybrid, part virtual, part physical? What's it going to be like?
Yeah, some of our speakers are international speakers, so some of them will harness the virtual platform to reach us during the course of the conference. There are other aspects that will be in person. So we'll have the blend of the virtual and the in person. But because it's a paid event, we can't make it virtual for our members too, because we need also to make some income and also build up our capacity in that direction. So we are going to do both, the blend.
One thing is critical. You've spoken about integrity, and corruption is in the system. How do you feel your members, especially those in senior management, can contribute to rooting out corruption in our country?
I must say accountants have been fighting corruption for a long time. And in fact, the structure of the profession itself is to fight corruption.
And has corruption fought back?
let me explain to you what it is. You know, in the structure, we have what we call internal auditors. They are the first line of defense. Now, if they are overwhelmed, you have external auditors. and then they also report to those in charge of governance. And so everyone waits for the Auditor General's report. Who are behind that report? Accountants, isn't it? But it is like after we have finished this program, you see that some names will be rolling on the screen. Those who are doing the sounds, those who are doing the audio, it just ran through. You don't remember them, you don't see them. But at the background, they are working very hard. That is what accountants are doing. At the background, we are fighting corruption, making sure that we protect the nation's purse. And that has been going on over the years. And so if you look at the structure, I can compare that to the body, for instance. Now, when a body is infected, the first line of defense is the immune system. And these are the internal auditors. Now, when they get overwhelmed, then the external auditors also come, like medicine introduced to strengthen the immune system and also to check the infection. Then after the reports are given to those who are supposed to act on it, that's the end of the word accountant. And so the corruption in Ghana actually is an issue of enforcement. Once the laws are enforced, people will take a cue from it, and that can reduce the level of corruption that we have in this country. So it's an issue of enforcement, but not an issue of those who are supposed to fight the corruption.
Okay, so let's wrap up on future projections for ICAG and maybe any other tidbits you'd like to share with our viewers. I'll start with you, Mrs. Anna.
Okay, so in the future, we are looking at building a strong accountancy profession.
Okay.
And we are looking at using technology.
So I'm sure you mean stronger, because
stronger, yes.
It's strong now, but you want to make it even more efficient.
More efficient, and also to ensure that our members are more accountable.
Okay.
Because now we are regulating firms, and with the new act, it means that we are going to expand into public sector, private sector, and become more relevant in those areas as well.
Exactly. And that's exactly what she has said. And we want to stick to that to ensure that we make a great impact in society. You know, as we said earlier, the world is changing. And we have to change with the tides.
Right.
Otherwise, we will lag behind. And so our focus is to prepare our students, our members for the future, so that they will not be left behind.
Okay.
And that has dovetailed into even our syllabus, the syllabus that our students use to become accountants. In times past, we had a subject that is on ethics. But we realized that ethics is part of everything that we do. And so now it has been incorporated into all the subjects that the students learn to become accountants. After that, you go through ethics training before you become a member. Then we also have the disciplinary process, where those who fall out of line, they are disciplined. So all these, together with others that we are doing, is to prepare the accountant for the future. A future-ready accountant is what we are preparing for.
Great. And we wish you the very best in the course of this week-long celebration. Mr. Osei Jimfi is Director, Technical and Research, and Abigail Ama is Senior Manager, HR and Communications. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Well, the conversation continues right here on the AM show. We take a bit of a breather. When we come back, there's more.